Okay, welcome to the Selectmen meeting for August 20th. We have a full attendance. Lonnie is by Zoom.
September 20th, Chair?
Is that what I said? I said August? I don't want summer to end.
I don't blame you.
All right, September 20th, I apologize. All right, approval of the minutes from August 9th. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any corrections, discussion? All in favor? Is Lonnie, was that an aye?
I just got the call that I've been waiting for, so I'm going to be out for a few, but I'll make it as quick as I can.
Okay, thanks, Lonnie.
Thank you. Sorry.
All right. Old business, consideration of Cafe Sebago liquor license and special amusement license. Wayne, we saw your report. Any deficiencies?
No deficiencies. The only recommendation I'd have for the board is, as a condition of approval, that the State Fire Marshal's Office dance license, the actual license, be forwarded to the fire department and the town clerk.
Okay. Oh.
God bless you.
All right. Kyle, you want to stand up?
Good evening.
Any other improvements that needed to be done?
I mean,
Have you gotten your state license? I saw
Yeah,
a
so
copy.
they sent me a temporary, it's in the mail, I have not received it yet. I
Okay.
forwarded the email from the state fire marshal, she said that that would be sufficient until it came in the mail. As soon as I get it, I'll file it at town hall, you guys will have it up there. Everything that was on Wayne's list was taken care of. We've gone around, just try to tighten things up, make sure we're on the up and up. I feel that we've kind of closed all the gaps that need to be taken care of, and we should be good to go.
Seriously?
I've been going by. You have really cleaned up that garbage back there. I have not seen any, and then I brought it up at last meeting, and I wanted to make sure I brought it up this meeting, that I have not seen it out. The tops are closed.
Yeah.
It looks great back
I
there.
really got on the the trash company's case after this last thing. I really made sure they knew what it meant to get on time, and I think it was a shortage of drivers, and then the billing thing. But I made it very clear this is not acceptable anymore. We'll be switching vendors if it happens again. So I'm glad she picked up on that.
Okay, no, and I just want to make sure I told you that because it does
Thank
look
you.
great.
Yeah, Wayne sent some pictures. You really cleaned up your act.
Yep.
So, are you current with all payments to the town?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And
If I might just make a suggestion for next year.
Yep.
You know what the checklist is.
Absolutely.
And if it was my business, I would, about a month or two before, get someone to kind of do an independent run through to make sure, especially on that grease thing, because that's caught you 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And, we hate holding things up, so.
Sure. No, absolutely. I mean, we're going to switch our vendors out. I let the company know that we've been using in the past, that this is unacceptable 2 times, have it fail like that. So they're clear, and they're clear that I won't be calling them back for service. We've found some different vendors in the area, so we're going to get on top of that and just make sure that that's taken care of.
any other questions? CEO fees all paid up? Code enforcement?
So, Mr.
You have to stand up.
Bancroft,
Sharice?
Rob, this
Stand
is-
up, Sharice.
You have to go to the podium here. Sharice Keach, Finance Director for the Town of Raymond. I don't always attend these meetings, but I'm here tonight. To my knowledge, Kyle, I think you still have a remaining balance on a planning board escrow account of $472. It's perhaps not related to tonight's agenda, but if you've come in and paid it, I haven't been made aware of it.
Yeah, today Mr. Bancroft paid all his past personal property taxes,
Okay. But there's still
but I didn't know
an
anything
escrow.
about that.
Okay.
But that's,
Yeah, so I mean, we're still working through that with code enforcement. That's
Okay.
with the parking area, so that's going to be a sticking point. I can get that taken care of sooner than later.
Okay. Thanks, Sharice.
Thank you.
All right. Do I have a motion?
move to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Congrats, Kyle.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll sign this.
Please do. I need to get it done.
Already did.
All right.
Thank you.
Work it out with those guys on the,
Yep.
okay?
Absolutely.
And
Thanks.
I'll give you a call tomorrow once I get it copied and filed and things.
Excellent. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Mr. Chair,
Yep.
may I say something just to the folks that are out on Zoom? I've asked several of them, or I've stopped their videos, and that's normal course of action. I just wanted to let them know that the only people that I don't stop the video for are the folks that are presenting right now or staff.
Okay, thank you. All right, Kurt LaBelle. So we're gonna switch B and A and go to consideration of supplemental assessment for tree growth withdrawal penalty.
Good evening, Kurt LaBelle, Assessor's Agent for the town of Raymond. Last month, I received a call from a property owner who has a woodlot in town, 44 acres. It's been enrolled in tree growth since 1977, requesting a voluntary withdrawal from the land use classification. And when there's a withdrawal like that, it requires a withdrawal penalty, which is issued as a supplemental tax. So I had calculated out the tax penalty for the owner, which was $26,980 for a complete removal,
How much land are we talking?
44 acres.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the course of investigating the just value, the market value of the property for the penalty, myself and Code Enforcement Officer Chris Hansen visited the property in August and found that the property had already undergone quite substantial development while being classified
While
as
in
tree growth. That's correct. And I believe there's numerous potential code violations involved, would you say, on the property? So from a tree growth perspective, landowners are required to give notice to the assessors prior to a change of use of property out of tree growth before they kind of go and do anything. The idea is that you remove it from tree growth and then you go and get your permits and do what non-tree growth activities you want to do. We didn't receive any notification prior to the development. The owner did call us though and ask for the withdrawal, but the development had already been done at that point. And the law prescribes an additional 25% penalty on top of the normal penalty by the assessors for cases like this. But the penalty may be waived by the assessors for cause. So I notified the landowner of this potential additional penalty, which is $5,220 additional to the $26,980. And in your packet, you probably saw his email response where he indicated that essentially he was unaware that he really needed to do anything to do what he was doing out there, and that someone from the town had been to the property and he thought that constituted notice on his part. So he's agreed to the $26,980 penalty for the removal. He objects to the additional 25%, and it's really, I think it comes down to a discretionary issue for the board to decide whether or not this warrants the additional 25%. So, yeah, on one side, you know, there is a substantial land use violation on this property that coincides with the change of use out of tree growth, and we didn't receive any prior notice to this change of use. On the other side of this, the owner did call and request a withdrawal, so it wasn't necessarily, we didn't discover it necessarily on our own. He did initiate it. The change of use looks like it was within this year, so it wasn't like there was a house on this property for 6 years and there was an intent to escape taxation. Sometimes, you know, up in the unorganized territory where most of the tree growth is, people may do something and maybe years before it's discovered. And it, from what I could tell, the change of use is not allowable in its current form, so he's gonna have some reparations and some
Mediation,
changes to
yeah.
do. So that's kind of the lay of the land on this as far as the additional 25%.
Okay.
So Chris or Alex,
Well, I'll speak to it.
okay. I assume there's an investigation going on.
He's received a notice of violation.
Right.
We actually have a meeting with him tomorrow in the office to discuss what he'll need to do to take care of those violations. Basically, he's used the site. It's a long road in. He's cleared quite an area for a couple of campers. Used it as a campsite all summer. Built decks. It was a 16 by 20 building erected without permits. A lot of clearing of vegetation, tree cutting, multiple paths to the water, one of which will have to come out. You're allowed to have one. He built a significant set of stairs. It's a very steep property to get down to the shore. He's installed docks. He's been using it as a recreation area, which I would too if it was mine, but it did require permits, and he didn't obtain any of those permits. There was some erosion issues that, not major, but if they're not corrected, could be a problem. Nubble Pond is a very small pond, and this is a pretty large activity that's been going on.
Good.
So when people get into this tree growth, are they given like a packet of information of what they have to do, what the rules are, everything like that?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a tax bulletin that Maine Revenue puts out, and they have to have a licensed forester and a harvest management plan with that forester, and they work with the forester to ensure that they're following their plan. This particular owner's owned it. I can't remember how long he's owned it, but it's been quite a few years now. He hasn't owned it since 1977,
But he bought it and kept it in tree growth.
that's right. Yeah.
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 Because
So
you can transfer it.
okay, so then he's known about it and he knows pretty much what can be done and what can't be done to the property because of it.
I would have to assume that. This owner has had other tree growth parcels, and he did a removal 5 years ago on another parcel that he built a home on, so I think he understands the mechanisms that have to be done.
So, all right, so if he withdrew before, was he penalized before with that?
A
With
different property, yeah.
So he is aware of it then.
Yeah, he knows that he knows the sequence of events that happen.
So
He's been through it before.
the concern we have now is whether to add on the other 5,500 or whatever
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
right.
And that's what I was getting to, to say, okay, if he knew about it from another property, then he'd be aware of it for this
Yeah,
property.
but on the other property, he didn't do any other work, so that wouldn't have come up on the other property, correct?
Yeah, I believe the work that was done on that property was after the removal. Not sure, Chris, was there issues on that, Alfred?
He got a permit to build a house.
Yeah.
I can't tell you whether, I wouldn't say that he did everything above board. He did build a road up to that property without permits to access that property. But I don't know if that's a tree growth violation. It's not like he built a structure.
Right, yeah. Yeah, this owner is certainly aware of the parameters of tree growth and what's required to get out because he's gone through this process before.
That's what I was getting at, so if he knew of it before then, so it's not like it's just new and sprung on him then.
Yeah, he definitely should have
In my-
awareness.
In my perspective, it's a deliberate and significant amount of development on a, property that is restricted from said development. And I think, for the sense of consistency and fairness, that, there should be some, penalty associated with that. We try to treat everybody equally and fairly in this business. And, I don't think there's an argument that can be made that he didn't know this was something he couldn't do.
But you need to separate the tree growth from notice of violation. Two separate things. One's a tax issue on tree growth, one's violations of code enforcement ordinances. to me, why are you gonna penalize them on the taxing when you're gonna probably penalize them pretty hard on the violations for code enforcement?
Well, I think we should take the NOVs right out of it, to be honest, because what we're here tonight on is the tree growth one.
Right.
And then the NOVs is something that's gonna be something totally different. So looking at this, that's what, again, that's why I ask, is he new to this, and what kind of information do they have? And if he's already done this before and knows what's involved in it, so that he is aware of it. So it's not like it's a first time thing. That's where I'm going with it. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, the NOVs, that's gonna be a whole nother issue, a whole nother battle that we should keep separate from it.
Any other comments?
No, I mean, I think the working one, I think the code violations is where the penalties are gonna come in on that.
Right.
So, I mean, are we doubling up on penalties?
That's how I'm feeling. Like we're going after the tax penalty, but you also know on the other side, there's gonna be code violations and they're probably gonna be more significant.
Yeah.
Well, what if there wasn't any NOVs?
Different story.
No, exactly. So like I said, take the NOVs out of this. We have to look at what's in front of us now. So I'm with whatever, but don't want to muddy the waters either.
Well, I think if there was no NOVs, then there'd be either no change of use,
Exactly.
or his change of use would have been permitted, and usually we would catch that. You know, hey, you got a permit for a house. Did you remember you're in tree growth?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so it's,
All right. Do I have any kind of motion here?
At this point, knowing we have the code violations, I would work that side more and say, because you can, but you can also excuse those at this point. I think we're gonna make, I think it's the problem area is on doing the work without permits and whatnot.
Right.
And that's where the emphasis should be put on. So I'd be in favor of not putting the 5,000 on there, but going after the code violations.
Have a motion?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous? All right.
this one I have a paperwork for you tonight, so there's 3 papers, a signature on each.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree with you guys. I have to print this out.
Had you already
It's a lot
given those
easier.
to me, Craig?
It is.
I don't remember.
I
All
just
right.
did them tonight. When
Okay.
yeah, I got
'Cause I
2
couldn't remember.
versions. Depending on which.
All right, we're gonna set the mill rate. Be kind to us.
Well, I will say that it is a little lower than what was projected back in April, but it's still not necessarily the kind of news you want to hear. We do have some fairly sizable increases, tax-wise, really across the board, primarily the school and the municipal budget, totaling almost $1.1 million. Some of that are actual budget increases. Some of it is you have less fund balance available this year, so that's certainly not helping. But as you saw in the packet, the town meeting, the voters at town meeting authorized the select board to utilize up to $200,000 in undesignated fund balance to reduce taxes. Using the full $200,000, we can come in at a $15 tax rate, which is a 90-cent increase over last year. So that's the
What is that on a percentage basis?
The mill rate increase?
Yeah. So you're talking 1405 to 95 cents
Yeah.
divided by 1405?
Yeah, so 7.4% is the commitment increase, so that's
That's
pretty much
huge.
gonna coincide.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
So do we have to sign this one too?
But there's, at this stage, not, that's where we're at. So the votes are in and budgets are passed.
What's the lowest we can go?
$14.99.
Seriously?
Yeah, because we're running an overlay of $36,000 with a $15 rate. So you're gonna be at $26,000 with a $14.99
How
rate.
much of this was the school?
550,000, half school, town's close second, 466.
Do we have any indication yet on how quick the payments are gonna come back from the state on the,
Stabilization program.
yeah,
They're saying January.
because that's the one.
January, but that'll be January of that's next year.
Because that's the one that has me the most concerned. If that gets delayed and delayed, we don't have, we're not putting that, the overlay would take care of some of that, but it's not gonna take care of all of that. If they delay and we don't get that, then we're sitting there running a deficit.
Yeah.
That's-
Right, but
that's
that'll
what
be next fiscal year. So we're
Right,
not,
it doesn't start till next year.
be next year. So this year, the taxes that we levy today and tomorrow that's the baseline. So next year is when we start to see the
So
differential.
next September, people can freeze their tax bill if they're over 65.
Right.
Hope everyone in the audience is listening.
Yeah, so far, we've got about 150
Applicants?
applications.
That's it?
in. Yeah,
We got a lot more people over 65 than that in this
yeah,
town.
yeah, and it's,
But they may not have been here for 10 years.
these came in pretty quick. We still got 2 months left.
Okay.
Take applications in.
What's our undesignated fund balance right now, Sharice?
Sharice Keach again, for those that might be tuning in, since I was last up here, Finance Director for the Town of Raymond. So as of the completed financial audit by our auditing firm, the undesignated fund balance was cited as being below the town's policy by approximately $100,000. Our policy is to maintain 15% of the tax commitment of the prior year. So I've done a quick analysis of where we might be now, and FY22 was good as far as revenues, not so good as far as expenses. But I believe we'll be adding, and this is unaudited, keep in mind, a little over 300,000, between 3 and 4, but I'm guessing it's going to be closer to 3. And that will put us back at our policy limit of 15%, if not 16, factoring in the use of 200,000 undesignated fund balance.
Which is why we went with 200,000
Yes.
this year.
Yeah. Does that help?
It's informative. Doesn't help, but it's informative.
Okay. So FY22 was a good year as far as revenues, and expenses were
Too high.
over budgeted. We've had quite a few expenses related to legal this year, and that will continue through FY23 until perhaps some of that is recovered.
Yep. Any other questions on the mill rate? Well, I need a motion.
I'd make a motion that set it at, used at 200,000, so set it at 15.
I have a second.
Second.
I just gotta say, I'm not happy at 15, but there's no choice out there right now. And I'm gonna encourage everybody over 65 who's been a resident of Maine for 10 years and has owned property for 10 years, fill out your application, freeze your property tax next year. You know, there's a lot of drivers in this thing, and we're gonna try and do better in the budget next year.
Look at Kurt. He's like been holding his breath, pretty much like, oh no, I got to deliver his news.
Well, your guys already kind of knew. I think we'd done some projections back in April.
Oh yeah, we knew it wasn't
Yeah.
gonna be pretty.
Yeah, I
Alright.
don't know if anybody had any, after you take your vote, if there are any, I was supposed to be here last month, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
But if you had any stabilization, if there's still any questions.
Anybody have
about
questions on the stabilization program? Hope you're all aware of it. I don't see anyone in the audience over 65. All right, all those in favor?
Sorta.
Yeah, exactly. Not much we can do.
that? Okay, so
Right now.
tomorrow I'll come in the morning, when I get everything into the computer system and the warrants, either Sue or Dawn, I'll send an email out and guys can filter in and sign them. And off we go. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kurt.
Kurt.
All right, consideration of business license applications.
Is Megan Munster here?
Yes, she is here. I've just asked her to unmute, and there she is.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
There you are.
Hi.
All right, so tell us about your new business.
So I am hopeful to be opening a day spa right at 1288 on Roosevelt, Unit 4. And what I'm looking to do there is to do age management, sensitive skincare, so facials, body work, body wraps, light therapy treatments, and microcurrent treatments.
Where is 1288?
So kind of diagonally across from the Good Life Market,
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
On the other
Yeah.
side there. Okay.
the A-frame.
Yeah, the A-frame. Okay, got it.
There was one there before.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Any questions of Megan?
No.
And
When do
Meg-
you plan on opening?
I'm hoping to open in the middle of October.
Great. All right, can I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the business license for Megan Munster, Mist Natural Spa.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Hold on. Expiration date is not on here.
That's
Yes.
1 year.
1 year,
Okay. It just says March 1st as of,
so 2023. The current ordinance, which I'm hoping to change next year, has all business licenses ending
Expiring
on
on the
March
same day.
1st. Yeah,
Oh,
which means
alright.
Wayne can't possibly do that.
Right.
So it doesn't work well, so we're gonna hope to change
okay,
that.
just want to check on that. All
All
right.
right.
All in favor?
True
All
to
in
that.
favor?
Oh, you went,
Ah.
oh, wait a minute.
Wayne?
Wait, take that back. Go ahead.
I would just ask the board to approve this conditional on the fire department's final inspection. All three of these businesses are in the process of making some changes in their building, but they're not completed yet. So our recommendation would be that it's conditional.
I'm passing the fire inspection.
Yes.
Okay. All
Thanks,
those
Wayne,
in
sorry.
favor?
Conditional? Yeah.
Conditional. Yeah. All right. Next business. Good luck, Megan.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to town.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Adam Nappy.
Adam Nappy, 2 businesses, Sideshow Disc and High Wire Hydroponics.
That is correct. Good evening, board.
Good
Hi.
evening. So why don't we start with your disc golf?
Okay, Sideshow Disc Golf. What I'm looking to do, we had purchased 1528 Roosevelt Trail, which is the old Miller Flooring building on 302.
Okay.
And if you look back into some 2019 approvals, for Sideshow Disc Golf, we were going to build a clubhouse, bathroom, septic, and parking lot on our course. Now that some things have fallen through, we would like to use this 1528 Roosevelt Trail, the old Miller Flooring Building, as said clubhouse, bathroom, parking area where people can easily access our course from there. So I submitted that business license for Sideshow Disc Golf on that matter.
Okay.
And I've had Wayne come through. We walked through it today. We have some things we got to do, like you mentioned earlier. So I'm looking to get a approval on the business license with some conditions per his request. Get those done, and then get the occupancy permit.
Couple questions on the disc golf.
Sure.
You've got 15 acres there. Is that going to use all that for the 18 holes, or is there a potential that you'll want to add more holes at a later date? And are you limited by saying that it's for 18 holes in the application?
It's 18 acres right there, and we already have the holes pretty much carved out and completed
Okay.
per our approvals back in 2019.
I just didn't want to limit your ability to add in some more in there by stating in there that was 18 holes, because all of a sudden, if you have in that same space, if you could do something else, have you unduly limited yourself there?
Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate that. We had to work around a bog and everything on that property regardless, and so we fit all 18 holes on the 18 acres along with the parking lot down the road and clubhouse.
Okay.
Any other questions for Adam?
I make a motion to approve the business license application for Sideshow Disc Golf.
With
Second.
conditions?
Second.
With conditions. Okay. All in favor? Okay, let's go on to the second one.
Thank you. The second one is High Wire Hydroponics. If you travel up and down 302, you're probably familiar with our pink wacky guy that's out there some days to,
Yeah.
to draw attention, over to our business. So we're going to be moving that business down into the 1528 Roosevelt Trail Miller Flooring Building as well.
So pretty much right next door.
Yeah, right across the street of Murray Drive.
Okay.
Okay. Wayne, are there any conditions with that one?
That would be the same.
The
Same conditions, yeah.
Conditions on a fire inspection and CFO.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to approve business license application for High Wire Hydroponics LLC.
With conditions.
With conditions.
Well, I was getting there.
No, you weren't.
I was.
You forgot. All right. Been moved and seconded. All in favor? Okay. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Adam and Megan, I'll hold the business license until Wayne comes in and signs them, and then I'll give you a call when they're ready.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Consideration of disposing of foreclosed property. Is Sue Carr here?
She is on Zoom.
Oh.
Where is it? There she is. Yeah, it looks like it's booting up. Sue, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right, Sue. Give us a rundown.
It is Anthony Rinaldi. I have been trying to get him to sign the agreement for the repurchase. And on the back of the agreement, I sign it and have it notarized. He needs to sign it and have it notarized. What he's done is just emailed me a copy of that with a signature, but it's not notarized. So I really don't know if it's his signature or not. And I need the original back, not a copy through email. He has been making his payments, that much I can say.
Can I ask how far behind he is?
He is, well, before tomorrow, he is $1,500 behind. It is just land.
How much land?
That I do not know at the top of my head, but I'm gonna say probably 2 acres. It's out on
3.17.
Cape Road.
Building lot, right?
3.17.
3.17 according to the.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Mr. Rinaldi is willing to give up his property because he won't get something notarized?
Yeah, I don't think he understands what the repurchase agreement is, even though we've tried to explain it to him quite a few times.
As the board knows, Sue Carr goes out of her way to make
Yeah.
arrangements with people, to make payment arrangements, to help them, everything. And she's there, and we have a set plan for everybody. And Sue, thank you for all that you do for the people as far as working out payment plans. So,
This one has also included Sue Look and myself, so we put a lot of effort into this.
well, thank you.
So I'm not looking for credit, I'm just saying that she
We've-
has tried
we've
everything.
exhausted everything, and everyone else has signed and had notarized.
Right.
And I have the form here tonight, I'm not sure if he's here, but.
Is
if he-
Mr. Rinaldi here?
But we've offered to notarize it for free. You can come to the town office, we'll notarize it for him.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the notion that he doesn't understand what's going on, despite it being explained, in writing.
But he knows he's gonna lose his land,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
He gets that.
Yes.
And we have a
What
notary
he
right at the
thinks-
town office.
From what I've understood, what he thinks is if he signs it, he loses it. And I keep trying to explain to him, no, it's just the opposite. You've already lost it. If you sign it, you can keep it.
Right, and this is a standard process that you all adopted a few years ago, and everybody is subject to it. This is the first time
Correct.
we've run into this problem.
Does he just not want to be cooperative? Is that?
I think he doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
That's it, despite what the efforts we've made.
So if he was to come in and meet with you guys and go over it, well, I know I've talked to you about this before too, as far as
Right.
like, there's been several times talking to him.
We've talked to him on the phone.
Yeah, so it's not like sending him a letter and not understanding it.
He thinks somehow that we want to, dispose of this property. What we want to do is to help him to redeem the property, to regain title to it. And so I've explained that in emails to him. I haven't talked to him directly, I know the other staff members have, but, we just thought we'd bring it to your attention. I mean, if you have some ideas on what we could do additionally, I will do that. But we've kind of gone over and above and beyond what we normally do, and we're trying to help him.
Well, the email that he also included in the e-packet was pretty in-depth as far as just,
Where is he located? Is he in Maine at this point?
Is it
Yes,
Westbrook?
he lives in Westbrook.
Yeah, Westbrook.
Westbrook?
I mean, I don't feel comfortable taking someone's property for $1,500. That's just-
Well, dispose of can mean a lot of things,
Right.
as opposed to taking it.
Well,
But-
you're getting it, and then you go to an auction and sell it, and it's like, I don't.
well, we don't. How long it takes to take somebody's land.
Oh, I know.
You know what I mean? But on the other hand is, what is their alternative? And I'm not saying take his land either, but what is their alternative at the town office to be able to get through to him? Maybe
Is there
one
any
of,
possibility of him coming in and meeting face to face with us?
I think that's what they've been trying to do. Is
Yeah.
Oh, they have.
Well,
When
that's,
he comes in, we've got notaries there. We have notaries in the office.
we have suggested that over and over again. I guess on the upside, and this is, I think, a change recently, he's making payments now, right?
He is at
Yes.
least making payments.
So that's
How
something.
much is he paying, Sue?
$125 a month.
And he's 1,500 in arrears?
Yes.
How much of the property taxes on that property?
That, I would say half of that is a year, so,
700 and something?
that, yeah.
So, but again, you go back to his e-packet email. He says he reviewed the contract and it doesn't say it needs to be notarized anywhere, and says it's binding once signed.
No, that's...
So,
All right.
Say it, but it's there. The form on the back page shows signature, print, and notaries information.
We tried, one last, I guess, a warning letter, which I think you may be aware of, and we thought that would precipitate some kind of contact, a call, a visit, something. What we got was the email, I guess, that you're aware of.
so when you talk to him on the telephone, how's that conversation? You telling him that we're not?
I didn't.
Yeah, I've spoken with him on the phone. I think you have too, haven't you, Sue?
No, I don't talk to him over the phone.
Yeah, but I did, and he was upset that he wasn't getting our emails, and that we wouldn't confirm that we'd gotten his payments. And then he found that our emails all went in his spam. So we found that. He was okay, he wasn't belligerent. And once he realized that, oh, I do really have the emails, he was apologetic. But he still
Right, so,
won't do what he's supposed to do.
okay, so if I'm, here's what I'm hearing at this point, is we've got a guy that's saying that he would agree to the payment plan. He's making some payments. What we're lacking right now is a notarized signature. In my opinion, what I would like to do is table this until the next meeting to see if we can get the notarized signature. If we can't, at that point, then then it's showing no faith on his part. Then I would be, I wouldn't feel as bad. But that's my recommendation at this point.
I would second that one. Yeah, give it another month.
Look, I don't want to take a tabling motion right now, because then you can't discuss it anymore once somebody makes a tabling motion. So, parliamentary procedure.
No, I'm saying you've got me a couple of times on that one.
So, let's talk about it first. He's making his payments. He's going to catch up in a year, hopefully.
Wait a minute, doesn't he get another tax bill here on top of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
But the tax bill's, well, it's going to be $900 now instead of $750.
But I mean, the
But-
fact of the matter is, if we get the notarized signature and he's
Yeah.
making his payments, we're not going to, then that stops action at that point
Right.
anyway. So, all I'm saying is, we're taking it off, taking it out, for 30 days, so we can see if we can get that signature. Because if in good faith he's making the payments, then for lack of a notary seal, then we're.
Yeah.
In some ways, this agreement, it's for the town, but it's also for his benefit.
Right.
It's the document that he can rely on, that he's going to, if he does his part of this, he'll redeem the property.
Right.
So, I mean, I think you drift in the direction of maybe let's continue to take the payments. Let's forget the formality of the signature. And
Well,
I get that, but
No, we're not
I'm
saying.
not saying forget the formality of
Right.
the signature. I'm saying it gives us that 30 days to get that
Right.
formal.
So here's a suggestion also. He's been dealing with Sue, and Dawn. And maybe he's just got it in his head that they're all working together. Maybe someone else call him.
I mean, I'm willing to give him a call. If you send me his information, I'll
Okay.
call.
So that's what I'm thinking is maybe like you are the board, that we don't want you to lose this. You sign this, notarize it. We have a notary
Yeah.
right there in the town office. We can, because I'm
Good.
thinking it's somebody stepped aside from it.
I like that.
Good idea.
Okay. All right. Motion table,
Motion to table.
second. All in favor? Okay. So just send me his information, I'll call
Yes.
him.
That I will do.
All right, consideration of special town meeting warrant for November 8th.
And there is a seat on the Portland Water District Board of Trustees that comes up every 5 years. Louise Douglas
yeah.
is running for it. And any election like that, municipal election, is a special town meeting can take place, so.
Well, let me ask a silly question. So you're having the special town meeting on election day. Why, knowing this was coming up, couldn't they have just put it on the ballot?
Because it's not a state seat, it's a municipal seat.
Yeah, but we could have, we could have done one for rate like we do for the municipal offices.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah,
have
but
a,
you're doing-
you
you're
have a
calling
separate
You're calling a
ballot.
special town meeting, which is not which isn't the regular voting procedure. That is, you're calling a special town meeting, you have an up or down vote at 7 a.m., and then that meeting is closed.
No, this is for a secret ballot vote. It's the same as we do for the municipal officers.
Right, you just have a separate ballot.
All right, well, that's not the way I was reading it when you call it a special town meeting.
Okay. Well, even when we have open town meeting, for instance, one of the warrant articles is to adjourn the meeting to a date certain to have the the secret ballot vote for municipal officers. And the only thing on this warrant is the secret ballot vote, so that's all we have. We still have to elect a moderator first thing in the morning, so our warden will be elected as the moderator, and she'll serve as both. But anytime there's a municipal ballot, it has to be called by a special town meeting warrant, or a town meeting warrant.
All right. So you still need a motion.
Yes, please.
I have a motion for a special town meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. All right. Annual update to the GA ordinances.
And this is, again, it's annual.
This is
It's
just a state.
housekeeping, yeah.
Okay, I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous. Consideration of resignation from Comprehensive Plan Committee.
Bill thought he would be able to serve, but he won't be able to, so he submitted his resignation before the meetings began.
And I saw you had a sign out looking
Yes.
for people.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody in the audience want to be on the Comprehensive Plan Committee? Feel free to apply. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it is. All right. Do you need a motion to accept his resignation?
Yes, please.
So
Moved.
moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Selectman comment?
No public comment.
What, did I miss public comment?
Yeah, right at the bottom. Public comment.
Nobody's here for that, though. All right, public comment. Please state your name and your residence.
Oh, that's fine.
David Prokofiew. I reside at 733 West Street in Lunenburg, Mass. I have a camp. My family has a camp at 33 Baxter Road on Little Rattlesnake, Raymond.
Okay, just 1 second. Can I
Sure.
have unanimous consent to allow a non-resident to speak?
So moved.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you very much. I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the. I have something prepared, and I'm just going to read through it because otherwise I'll get nervous and off track. So I hope you bear with me.
We're making you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit.
Good, that's why we're here.
I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the Short-Term Rental Impact Community Team, an action group of concerned citizens. First of all, I just want to say thank you to the board members for allowing us to present our proposed draft ordinance for STRs. The term STR, or short-term rental, may not be familiar to a lot of people, so I'd first like to make clear what we're talking about when we say STRs, or short-term rental. Our draft ordinance defines short-term rental as the use, control, management, or operation of a legally existing residential dwelling unit offered for rent for transient occupancy for more than 14 days in the calendar year for dwelling, sleeping, or lodging purposes by short-term rental guests for a tenancy of less than 30 consecutive days for compensation, directly or indirectly. As I said, we're a group of concerned citizens who either have STRs as neighbors or have family members who have been impacted by them. It's a growing industry that is impacting the entire state and has caused many towns to establish ordinances to mitigate the impacts on the housing market, neighborhoods, town services, and the environment. Most recently, the neighboring communities of Casco and Gray have passed or proposed ordinances that allow their respective towns to regulate STRs. The state has also formed a second committee to investigate what impact STRs are having on Maine's long-term rental housing shortage. We feel the time has come for Raymond to regulate the impacts this industry has on our community. Impacts in Raymond. Every member of our group can tell you a personal horror story about how their life has been negatively impacted by unsupervised short-term tenants who don't know or respect the laws of the town of Raymond, nor do they have a sense of respect for the neighborhoods in which they stay. But most of these stories revolve around a lack of oversight by an on-site host, the lack of oversight and accountability under Raymond's ordinances, and the lack of adequate noise and nuisance protections. This is a mixed-use zoning issue that causes conflict between residential and commercial users. These shortcomings permit the owners of STRs and their guests to operate with impunity. And because of the nexus that most waterways in Raymond form with Lake Sebago, flowing into and comprising the largest reservoir in southern Maine, it's important that the town take immediate action to protect her waterways from the various threats posed by increased unmonitored commercial uses in residential and protected zones. Our proposed suite of ordinances. In response, we've created a suite of ordinances that will standardize the industry in Raymond, collect registration fees to help offset the cost of allowing them to operate in residential zones, standardize the experience, improving safety and enjoyment for the visitors, the owners, and the neighbors, better protect the environment, especially the fragile waterways and riparian zones, and provide accountability through a simplified adjudication process to weed out bad actors. We hope to ease the conflicts between residents and STR tenants and owners. Our process. We started by organizing a group of people who had been personally affected by unregulated, non-owner occupied STRs in their neighborhoods. After several mind-dumping sessions, we began to see overlap and patterns in these personal horror stories and proceeded to have several brainstorming sessions focused on possible solutions or ways to mitigate common problems. We next reached out to professionals and specialists in several local environmental organizations to help us hone our concerns and focus our attention on possible solutions. After receiving positive and helpful feedback from Casco's ad hoc committee in the process of developing their own STR ordinance, as well as input from Sebago Clean Waters and Raymond Waterways, and referencing the Lake Book, we finalized a list of concerns and began researching what other towns with similar circumstances had done to deal with the issues. We applied our concerns to establish ordinances in Cape Elizabeth, Freeport, Portland, South Portland, Rockland, Bar Harbor, Kennebunkport, and Casco. We converged on a complementary suite of ordinances using Kennebunkport's comprehensive and flexible STR ordinance as a template. These documents fill gaps in existing local legislation and provide registration, inspection, and simplified adjudication of STRs to create a higher standard of professionalism and livability across Raymond. The intersection of residents with STR owners and their tenants. The full-time or full-season residents who have built the Lakes region over generations have set a standard of living. They have defined the Maine Lakes experience. STR business owners come to Raymond with the intention of exploiting that identity for profit. And each time they overstep the standards of the community, even the unwritten ones, they deplete it in tangible and intangible ways. It's unsustainable without regulation. There is a real danger that STRs will exploit the town's shared assets and put the bill on the residents. Because once the adventure is over and nobody wants to visit the noisy milfoil-choked lakes anymore, they'll be gone and someone will have to pay to have the lakes restored to their former glory. A Maine lake vacation is a co-created product of tangible and intangible elements. These owners don't seem to understand how much of what they're selling is created by us, their neighbors. If they sell these standards, if they're patient and realize that what we're suggesting is a quieter, more peaceful, active outdoor experience, one that's perfectly aligned with the Maine brand, they'll have a much more sustainable product of greater value for much longer. The Lake Havasu topless drunken pontoon island idiocy thing has been done to death out west. This is a unique product, a mutually created experience, but isn't for everyone and shouldn't be. If Maine allows these business owners to change the definition of what a Maine lake vacation experience is, then Maine may lose its unique identity and everything that people love about it. The work we've done takes a long view of sustainability factors for everyone in Raymond. It defines and codifies standards that the community already holds itself to, and there's no reason STRs and their guests should not be held to the same standards. We respectfully request that you review these documents and have us back at your next meeting to discuss options, hopefully to support it outright, helping us promote it to the next town meeting warrant, or perhaps by forming an ad hoc committee with a couple members of planning, conservation, and this board so that we may have access to review by town council, administration advice from CEO, and input from planning and select board to replace some of the variables in our ordinance with concrete numbers before promoting it to the town meeting warrant. With that, we'll hand out the documents, and we thank you for hearing us out, and we'll do our best to answer any initial questions you might have.
What specifically,
No. This is public comment. We're not gonna have a dialogue back and forth, okay? Hand the documents to Sue.
Yeah.
Thank you. More public comment?
Grace and Grace on there seem to have their hands up.
Grace and Grace?
There are two Graces up there.
All right. Which
There's
Grace
two.
wants to go first?
It doesn't matter, but I think I raised my hand first, so I'll go first if that's okay. So there aren't three, Grace, just two. But thanks for a few minutes for a couple of topics I just wanted to bring up. The first is about the signs that notify that you're about to come up to a school bus stop. And what happened right at the beginning of school this year was I'm coming down Raymond Hill Road, and I stopped fine. I could see the bus fine, but I actually didn't see that there was a sign saying school bus stop ahead. Until you know the new routine of school bus stops, you're not quite sure what the timing is and where they're stopping, etc. And I was fine, and had plenty of room to stop and all. But the way people come down that hill, those of you who have traveled down it, you can get going pretty fast, and some intend to go fast and some don't. But still, even if you're going the speed limit, the way I was positioned in order to stop in time for this tiny little child to cross the road to get to the bus, I was sitting there nervous that I could be rear-ended because there's a curve, there's a hill. At the time, I hadn't even seen the sign myself. Next time I went down, I did see there is a sign, but not all that, it doesn't stand out all that much. So my question is how often those signs, the placement of those signs are reviewed and maybe changed, and hopefully they're checked every so often, especially when I know the school bus stops vary from year to year, depending upon what the students need to be picked up. And also, just how visible are they? I know we've got some stop signs that at some of the dangerous intersections have the flashing lights that light up. I imagine there's cost to that, but still, when it comes to a child being safe, you certainly want to be looking out for those types of things. So I hope that that's something that there's a routine process in place in the town to look at that and be sure that we're doing everything we can to keep the students safe. And well, that was really just the point I wanted to raise on that. And there just seemed to be a lot fewer public service announcements about, school buses are back on the roads again. Usually there are a lot of them as schools get underway, but there weren't that many. So I'm hoping this serves as one, as well as an ongoing reminder to stop for the school buses when the lights are flashing. And if I could just point out one other topic, the sound when you're watching meetings on TV often goes in and out, and the recordings then when you're watching them do that as well. And we just noticed this evening, because we've got both the TV on and I'm on Zoom here. It's not a problem on Zoom, but I don't know how many of you watch your own meetings once they've been recorded, but there are periods of time where the sound is just, it goes in and out and you can't understand what anybody's saying. So I didn't know if anyone's ever alerted you to that, if it's a spectrum issue or what, but I know other people have told me that they have that experience as well. So if something could be done to address that, that would be great. And that was all I had to say.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Grace.
thank you.
Any other public comment?
I think the second Grace.
There's also a Gracie,
Gracie?
which is gone.
Gracie's
Oh, no,
gone?
there we go. Now there's Grace.
Hi there, my name is Gracie Levitt. My pronouns are she, her, and I live at 8 Levitt Road. I'm grateful for this public forum and the opportunity to speak with you all remotely this evening, so thank you so much for that. I wrote down a few notes just to collect my thoughts and keep things concise here. I wanted to visualize something that I witnessed at a small local business in late August. I'm not going to name the business in Raymond because what happened was not their fault. But as I was patronizing the establishment with my family, including my 4-year-old, 2 other patrons, while in the process of leaving the parking lot, began yelling at 2 other customers. I'll summarize their loud, hateful remarks as anti-LGBTQ, as they berated 2 people they identified as women for ostensibly showing affection to one another. Before driving off, they yelled that the two other people shouldn't be showing each other affection in the presence of children, implying that this was somehow harmful, which I mightily dispute. But instead, it's acts of what feel like bigotry to me that are harmful to children, to all in the LGBTQ+ community, to anyone who has been marginalized. They're harmful too to our sense of belonging, to business and growth and democracy, and to our shared future and mutual survival. I've wondered whether the two adults I saw hurl these hateful remarks were Raymond residents. I've wondered whether the people they verbally attacked were residents too. Maybe yes, maybe no, but regardless, this happened in our town. I'm not so naive as to imagine it's never happened before, and I won't be so foolish as to presume it could never happen again. So I'd like to ask the board, what are we as a town doing to ensure that hate has no home in Raymond? In the preamble to the Raymond Land Use Ordinance under C, purpose, the first line reads, "The purpose of this ordinance is to promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the residents of the town." If it is indeed incumbent upon us to promote this health, safety, and general welfare, I'll offer just a few of the ideas about what we might do as a town to ensure that health, safety, and welfare are available to everyone. The town might issue a statement declaring that hate has no home here and safety is for everyone. Words may be frail without follow-through, but they can set our intentions. The town might make available to small businesses wishing to participate a symbol of this statement, a small flag or sign. Symbols can be emptied of their meaning through hypocrisy, but they can also be filled up through accountability. And also, the town might offer free bystander intervention training to safely reduce and prevent harassment using tested and teachable techniques. No matter our opinions or affiliations, we can come together to ensure safety in our community for everyone. I would very much like to hear the board's thoughts on this matter, but also if anyone listening would like to collaborate on an effort to promote safety and belonging in our town or share their experiences in Raymond, I can be reached at grace.levitt@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Well, Grace, the board doesn't make comments during public comment. We allow the public to make their comments, and thank you for your comments. We appreciate your viewpoint, and I agree that there's a lot of ignorance out there, and it shouldn't happen. But we will not engage in the dialogue tonight. So, any other public comment?
I'm going to read what I have typed up here as well.
Could you introduce yourself,
Your name,
sir?
please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My name's Dr. Brian Patterson, and I live at 11 Giffords Point here in Raymond.
Okay.
Okay. For the past 3 years, we have lived next door to a short-term rental. Most visitors stay for 1 week at a time, but there are times when the house is only rented for a weekend. And throughout these years, we've experienced a myriad of issues that have affected our quality of life. First, for context, please understand something about me and my family. Like you, we try to be good neighbors to everyone. Some of our neighbors are actually here tonight. Good to see you. And as good neighbors, you try and grit your teeth in order to preserve relationships, right? And we've extended this grace to the rental owner next door. But to be transparent, we've grown weary of the repeated issues associated with the short-term rental. Here's just a short list of what my family, which consists of my wife and 4 kids under the age of 7, have experienced. Repeated trespassing on our property. Using our driveway as a turnaround, despite the posted no trespassing signs on multiple trees. It's excessively loud and vulgar music. Vulgar language being used amongst the guests. Tenants traveling at excessively high speeds. An exorbitant number of guests parking on our property or the leading road due to limited on-site parking at the short-term rental. There was one event that had so many guests that I'm not sure if an ambulance could have navigated past the vehicles. Tenants mistaking our house as their rental property, even trying to enter into our home at 1 a.m. in the morning. Has anyone here experienced someone trying to enter into your home at 1 a.m. in the morning? Again, I have a wife and I have 4 children under the age of 7. Tree companies and docking companies being allowed to access my property because it was more convenient for them to access where they were trying to go on the next door neighbor's property. So last week, I decided to write Town Manager Willard regarding our most recent issue. And again, thank you for getting back to me so quickly. But in your email correspondence, you mentioned that Raymond does not have a local police department. And you said, quote, "This makes direct municipal intervention resulting in immediate relief problematic." And I agree. I also received an email from Sheriff Kevin Joyce who said, quote, "It is becoming a common issue everywhere." So, I've done my part as a homeowner and Raymond resident. I've done exactly what the town manager suggested. I've approached the owner on more occasions than I have fingers on my hand. Would you have me direct all future issues with the police directly? Even the sheriff himself has admitted that this has become an issue. I chose to move to Raymond with my family instead of anywhere else in the country when I graduated. And I absolutely love this town, and I love my quality of life here. And I wouldn't live anywhere else. But I've grown weary of the repeated issues. And I look forward to hearing how this is going to be resolved in the future.
Thank you. Any more public comment?
If I may? We do have an address, Facebook address, and I will try to get the documents that we handed to you tonight up on there within a couple of days so that other people can see what we're proposing. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Anyone on Zoom?
No other hands raised.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to say to Gracie, Leavitt? Levitt? I'm
Yep.
sorry. That I have a trans son, and I'm with you all the way on that. And hopefully, in the summertime when we're up, my kids who are very active in GSA can get together with you, and you could work on something together. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to selectman comment. Anything, Lonnie?
No.
All set?
Nope, I do.
I'm all set.
I know we're not talking back and forth. I know
Correct.
that. I'm talking to you. But I am hearing more and more, and I know this was brought up to us months ago about the short-term rentals. And now that other towns are actually getting more active in it, and doing things. And we don't have a police department. I'm not talking to them, I'm talking to you. And, but I think it's especially, I'm very anxious to read more information about it. And maybe what we can do is, I would suggest maybe having a workshop at some point, that the board can discuss more once we read more and learn more and find out more options. So that's my comment.
Okay. Anybody else?
Oh, thank you to Rita, and thank you to Shep. Rita retired, Shep retired, and welcome Kathy Goslin. Yes.
Ditto on that. That's great.
Yeah.
Them.
Yeah.
Now I'm done.
All right. Town manager's report.
Thank you. So last meeting I told you about the sidewalk project being completed. If you haven't been down there lately, the grass is in, it looks great. We're getting a lot of positive comment, not 100% comment because nothing's 100%, but the comments that are negative are small things that have to do with construction details like mailbox placement and so forth. We're getting such positive comment, and I think it's such a significant issue for the community that we are considering, that is myself and the Public Works Director, in trying to find a way to extend the sidewalk along Main Street and to promote additional pedestrian access opportunities. It's being used, it's being appreciated, and so once again, thanks to the Public Works Department. Thanks, of course, to our friends at the Maine Department of Transportation for their half. It came out great. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. On another thing that's related to, I guess, quality of life, and I guess to me it's an essential thing, and Kevin Woodbury could talk to you for hours about it, and that's the whole issue of broadband and the lack thereof in this community and surrounding communities. So finally, at long last, and we got two Gracie Levitts, but it's Peter Levitt who always is asking me about updates. So Peter and you all, we finally have the RFP back to the committee that is studying this on a regional basis with GPCOG, pretty much all of our neighboring communities. Now the solution won't be the same for every community because everybody looks at it differently, but we're looking at doing it, in our view, the right way, and that also is probably the most expensive way, but so we'll have information, and that's fiber to every home. We'll be having information for you hopefully very shortly. I don't know if it'll be by next meeting, but they've, I guess, discarded one proposal. They're going to be looking at a couple, three, and as I say, custom tailored by town. Then comes how do you pay? That'll be part of what the proposals address. So that's, I think, some level of good news and progress, finally. The library department transition has gone really, really smoothly. The trustees have morphed, or are in the process of transitioning, morphing into a Friends group. So they're looking for interested people who want to serve on the Friends group. For people who don't know, the Raymond Village Library was a private nonprofit. Now it's a town department as of our last election. And so as a part of that, Allison has become a department head, and we've had positive, great interaction with her. She attended her first department head meeting last week, and she sent you all a report, I think. And so if you have any suggestions or changes you'd like to make, then we can certainly make those. But I think as a start, it's a good report. It's the report that she made to the trustees when she was reporting to them. The $205,533.84 RVL funds were transferred to the town at the end of August for library use. So that's one more. So in Cumberland County is also doing some study work, and that's on the long-standing, really long-standing issue of can we collaborate as public safety departments for efficiency, service improvements, and cost savings. And so they're using some ARPA money. I think I've told you about that. And that RFP is now out, and the proposals are back, expected back shortly. And so we'll see what it is that we might be able to do. And the proposals are not coming from Maine because this doesn't happen in Maine. It's very common in the Midwest and in the West, but also somewhat in the Southeast. And so I think many of the consultants are not from New England, and so we'll see what they come back with. And I'm really excited about it because, as Angus King said years ago, does every town need a ladder truck? We don't. Can we work together? We should. There are lots of opportunities, and as I think I pointed out at other meetings, in places where they do this, the response times, the rates that people survive, catastrophic injuries and other health events are greatly improved. It only makes sense. We are fighting one another, trying to find people to work for us, and so that's an ongoing problem. And so let's work together and try to standardize some of our process procedures and utilize our assets together as we make our way on these emergency calls from the origin to the hospitals. So that's coming.
Okay.
Well, thanks to Cumberland County. That's something we don't say very often.
New dates, the
Oh,
dates
no,
of the
oh
next
yes,
meeting?
dates. Yeah, okay. Confirmed dates, October 11th, November 15th. And then we have the reminder of upcoming holiday schedule, Monday, October 10th, Columbus Day.
Okay.
That's it.
Anything else? Want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We will definitely take it under consideration to decide how we're going to move forward. Thank you. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Well, you got to read it out.
Can I make a
Move to
motion to
go
go?
in pursuant to 1 MRSA 405-6E, code enforcement violation with a
Second.
Second. All in favor?
He's already on the
Okay, can I have a motion to come out of executive
Move
session?
to come out of executive session.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Move to adjourn.
Second? All in favor? Thank you very much.